The National Championship 2005 here at the Women's College Cup. Portland in purple and UCLA in white. This is Stephanie Lopez, the West Coast Conference Defender of the Year this season. Now Edis Mora, the Mexican international, who is a tremendous playmaker for the Bruins. Danesha Adams making an early run. And broken up by the Portland defense. Pilots are pretty good on the defensive side as well. They've only allowed 9 goals all season. For Garrett Smith in his 3rd year as the Portland head coach, but he has been around the Pilot program his entire adult life, beginning as a player for Clive Charles with the men's team back in the mid-'80s. He has played in the College Cup and now coaching in it as the head coach. Jillian Ellis in her 7th season at UCLA. The Bruins were in the championship match a year ago, lost in penalty kicks to Notre Dame, the only NCAA final that ever advanced to PKs, and the Bruins came up just short. They have established a Pac-10 dominance in a short period of time. The Bruin program just over a decade old. Started up in the early 90s. Huey with the takeaway, now Megan Rapinoe. Angie Woznuk all alone and scores! The first goal allowed in the NCAA tournament for UCLA, and the Pilots are on top.
Beth, it's going to be really interesting to see how they deal with this, being down in the final match 1-0 so early in the game. They haven't given up a goal in the run of the playoffs, so this could be a tough mental test for them. And really the breakdown was on Adams' side, and we mentioned this a lot in the semifinals. She goes out of that space and doesn't recover really well. She's more of an attacking right midfielder, and Woznuk, boy, finds the back of the net with just a cool, calm finish.
Sophomore from El Cajon, California, did not play last season, redshirted to be with the U.S. National U19 team, and is back this season with a huge strike for Portland in the early going. And how will the Bruins now deal with the shock of giving up that first goal of the NCAA tournament? As Anne-Marie Henderson alluded to just a minute ago, though, the good news for the Bruins is they are very good at scoring themselves.
They do have a whole ton of weapons really up top. Lang is a great goal scorer, just a freshman sensation. There she is, almost getting on the other end of that cross. But you've got Edis Mora, Mexican national team star. She's the leading point getter for the UCLA Bruins in NCAA playoff history for the Bruins. So they've got a lot of weapons up top. And then Adams, of course, who scored a bucket of goals. She had 4 goals against Virginia in the quarterfinal win.
So the offensive personalities are definitely there for UCLA. And we take a look at the lineups: Castellanelli, Oakes, Hardy, and Davis.
Right there, White, right there, White, right there, White.
In midfield, Adams, Zerboni, Lindstrom, and DiMartino, who had those 2 goals in the semi. And then Mora and Lang up top. Cara Lang is the leading scorer in this NCAA tournament with 17 points on 8 goals scored. Off the head of Adams, this is Lang, number 15 in white, muscled off it by Emily Michelson. A real dominating presence at 5 feet 11 inches along that Portland back line. Woznuk, the goal scorer. Gives it off to Megan Rapinoe, one of the top freshmen in the country. It's a credit to the depth of this Portland team that, with all the hype going to Christine Sinclair, she has not scored in their last 3 matches, and yet other people have come through for them in clutch situations and helped them advance. And now early on, it's Woznuk. This is the defense in the 4-4-2 lineup for the Pilots: Lopez, Evans, Michelson, and Hollenbeck. Lopez, the conference defender of the year. Woznuk with the goal early here, along with Sari, Rapinoe, and Huey, an All-American. And then Budge and Christine Sinclair, the nation's leading goal scorer. One-0 Portland, a stunning start to this national championship match. That is the fastest goal scored all season, by the way, for the Pilots. Coming in the 2nd minute. Woznuk, the former high school player of the year out of the state of California. What a job that Garrett Smith has done. An assistant for over a decade with Clive Charles, and now really stepping out on his own. And has done a terrific job with the chemistry of this group, making sure that they're all playing together. There's pretty much a high school All-American at every position. Now Rapinoe pushing forward. Nudged off the ball by Aaron Hardy. Out to midfield, Caroline, the freshman from Ontario, Canada. Sandra Hunt is our main referee today, along with Corey Rockwell and Karen Swanner along the sidelines. Danesha Adams now with her touch inside the area. Lopez defending. She plays it back for Martino, and a bit long on the first touch. Sinclair, and the whistle will go against Lindstrom for grabbing the jersey. Christine, the senior from British Columbia, a member of the senior class for Portland that has a national championship. They won it back in 2002. Incidentally, that was also here in the state of Texas, over in Austin.
Again, we're keeping our eye on Christine Sinclair's right leg. In the semifinal, she was definitely hampered a bit. She has a deep bone bruise. She said at halftime she didn't take good enough care of it to keep it warmed up. And that could be an issue today because it's a lot cooler today.
Throw in for the Pilots. Here are the rules for collegiate soccer. The clock will count down from 45 minutes. No stoppage time. You cannot re-enter in the first half if you leave. You can come back once in the second half. We will have a timeout at about the midway point of this first and second half. If we need to, we'll go to golden goal overtimes and then penalty kicks. 1-0 Portland on a goal in the second minute by Angie Woznuk. The first goal allowed by UCLA in the run of play in the last 2 years in the NCAA tournament, a span of over 11 games. And it didn't take long for the Pilots to break through.
You know, a lot of times coaches will not want their teams to have to face those first-time situations in a final game, for example. Typically, like if they're going to take a loss, they want to do it earlier in the season. And here we'll take a look here. Oh, there's Lindstrom getting beat there, and Rapinoe's the player who finds Woznuk through. Just a beautiful ball. Adams is not tracking on that side. Oh, and that's a finish. That's not a shot. That's an actual finish. She looks up, sees where the keeper is, and makes an incredible decision just to slot it right by her.
And some credit to Lindsay Huey, who made the steal on the pass and took it away from Lindstrom and got it to Rapinoe. Once again, the Bruins long from being out of it, averaging 5 goals a game in the NCAA tournament. And here's another look at the Portland goal.
And I love talking about finishes. When players are high-level finishers, they're making those types of decisions based on where the defenders are, where the goalkeepers are, and Woznuk did just that. That was beautiful. Inside of the right foot, kind of bending in towards the face of the goal, beating the keeper low. Great decision.
5th goal on the season. And the Woznuk name certainly familiar to UCLA soccer fans. Her brother Joe played for the Bruins. And now she hurts UCLA with the early goal. Stephanie Lopez will chip that one over the top. Rapinoe turns it back inside. Lisa Seri, the holding midfielder. Wide to Hollenbeck, who gives it away. Pilots will regroup, switch fields. Lopez down the left. Ricochets out of play off of Adams. It is a much cooler day than the last few here in College Station. It is windy as well, the wind blowing across the field at this point. So no advantage one way or the other. Michelson heads it forward. Lindstrom, another giveaway. Huey, broken up by Jill Oakes. Terrific defense from the All-American in back.
Looks to me like Lindstrom is a bit shaken up for UCLA.
Here are the conditions, under 50 degrees and 15-mile-an-hour wind today. There is a slight chance of some rain possibly this afternoon as well. The field, as we talked about, though, Wendy, during the semis, is immaculate, and the Texas A&M fans have been wonderful with their support all weekend long.
With a field this perfect, you don't have to worry about a ball bouncing erratically, but one of the things that the goalkeepers have to worry about is the ball's going to be moving a lot quicker, so on shots they might skip a little bit. Their reaction time is going to have to be a lot quicker. You know, both of these teams are going after it. There's Lindstrom trying to get herself plugged back into the game.
The collision with Sari for Portland. Corey Alexander in goal for Portland, 21-0-2 on the season, including the 2 saves and the penalty kicks in the semis. And Val Henderson, 21-2, has only needed to make just over 1 save per game this year. And that's one of the big challenges for both these goalies, Wendy, is to, when they need to have that focus, they're not tested very often. They've got to come up big.
The mental demands on goalkeepers is amazing if you really think about it, because you're right, Beth, it might be a 2-minute span of 90 minutes where they actually have to be at the absolute top of their game, and the rest of the time they've got to remain very focused so that they can react to what's going on. It's a much different scenario for them that they're playing through their minds than a field player.
Florida State only took 1 shot the entire match in the semis. And Henderson now facing her first shot against Portland, and Woznuk gets the goal. A terrific run from Angie. Rapinoe lets it go from long range. Henderson scoops it up. Val, sophomore from Orinda, California, has been spectacular in goal for the last 2 seasons in the NCAA tournament. Oakes tripped up, and the foul will go against Rapinoe. Jill Oakes, a senior from West Hills, California, came out of high school as the biggest recruit ever to join the Bruins, a National High School Player of the Year. And boy, has she produced since she's been here. All Pac-10 for the 4th year in a row this season. And has taken the Bruins from an NCAA tournament team to a perennial College Cup performer. Hollenbeck to Huey. UCLA gets it back. Lindstrom will play it back to Oakes. Caroline. She's marked by Carrie Evans. Woznuk with the takeaway, and now Sinclair with the freshman Hardy on her. Christine's pass into the middle. No purple jerseys around. Mary Castellanelli with the clear out. Bruins trying some possession to build up the attack. Mora. Onto the foot of Danesha Adams. Alexander out of the goal. Adams still on her feet. And misses, hitting the side netting. Had the open goal but could not turn on it.
Well, Corey Alexander comes up big again. There's Lopez chasing Adams, and look at Alexander just kind of shutting it down, providing that pressure. Adams needs to compose herself a little bit, but she's off balance, just hits it into the outside side netting.
Danesha Adams just missing. The sophomore has scored in 11 of her 12 NCAA tournament matches. Could not find the equalizer, and now Portland They'll try and muster an attack. Rapinoe has it in the area. And the whistle, the foul, will be called on the push-off by Megan. Rapinoe, the freshman from Redding, California, the West Coast Conference Rookie of the Year. She's already involved in the U.S. national pool. Megan with 5 goals in the NCAA tournament. She has the assist on the pilot goal this afternoon. Angie Woznuk with the score in the 2nd minute, the first goal UCLA has allowed this entire NCAA tournament. And very good news for Portland, who was not able to score in the semis against Penn State. That's the first time all year that they have been held scoreless. Ended up winning in penalty kicks to advance. Rapinoe to Sinclair, now Natalie Budge. Tried to thread it through to Huey, broken up by DiMartino. Sinclair heads it into space, but Budge had drifted back. Portland with the early lead. Incidentally, trying to join North Carolina and Notre Dame as the only teams with multiple national championships in the last 24 years. Cara Lang trying to turn. Michelson takes it away. That's going to be a good battle all afternoon, Lang and Michelson.
Both of them with great size here. I agree, Beth, that is going to be quite a battle.
Both of them turning to Sandra Hunt, looking for a whistle on that takedown. Portland in the College Cup for the 8th time. Only Carolina and Santa Clara have been here more. Of course, the Tar Heels in that Anson Dorrance dynasty with 17 NCAA titles. Eliminated in the region final this year by Florida State in penalty kicks. The offside flag is up against Natalie Budge. Jill Ellis trying to break through, get that first title with the soccer program. How quickly she has really turned things around. A couple of recruiting classes ranked in the top 5 in the last few years, including Cara Lang, who was the nation's top recruit coming out of high school last year. Top. Sari. Lopez overlapping to run onto that one. Looking for Rapinoe. Rapinoe. Oh, just missed Sinclair.
I like Rapinoe, Beth. She does show up for the big games. She says she loves playing in these games. These types of games excite her, and they do not give her the typical freshman jitters that we see a lot of times with the young players. And the young players are just contributing. There's another one, Cara Lang. Just they're contributing in all 4 teams that made it here to the College Cup.
Cara Lang from Oakville, Ontario, and a member of the Canadian national team. Henderson in the air. Taken away, Sinclair. Woznuk with some space. She'll let it rip. Oates heads it up and over the top, and a corner kick coming up for Portland. As we see Cara Lang's resume, 2003 Canadian World Cup team. And that top recruit that we told you about, she's scored in every NCAA game so far.
Here's Woznuk. You know, I really believe she's going to have a field day if Adams doesn't get back and track that space. She's such a phenomenal player, mixing it up, that time trying to take a shot from the outside. But of course, it was Oakes getting on the other end of it.
Lindsay Huey will take the corner. Handled by Henderson. Lopez, Woznuk, Rapinoe, right back to Megan on the good give and go. Hardy sends it back out to midfield. And the whistle after Huey was taken down. Lindsay Huey, the senior from Mission Viejo, California. Top 5 in her career. Huey has been such a dynamic leader for this Portland side all season long. 3-time All-American. And a real interesting story is Lindsay Huey wants to be a family and marriage counselor when she gets out of school. A product of a broken home. And went through a bit of a rebellious period during her younger days and has really matured and blossomed into the leader of this team. And now Woznuk again behind the defense. Drops it off. Here comes Sinclair, the one-timer, and she scores! Perfect placement! And Portland is on top, Tuesday. Again, set up by the run by Woznuk.
Although Sinclair got the goal, it's Woznuk, in my opinion, who's been the MVP so far. Look at her just chew this space up, pulls it back, finds Sinclair. Beautiful ball, and oh my goodness, she's ripping the net off with that shot. You could just tell when Sinclair went to hit that ball that that thing was ending up in the back of the net.
Just the second time all season the UCLA defense has given up 2 goals in 1 match. And boy, for Portland, after being shut out in the semis, they have come ready to work here in the final. Let's send it down to Anne-Marie Anderson.
Christine Sinclair said she's really enjoyed this season, her last. It's the first time she hasn't had to pack up with any obligations for the Canadian national team. She didn't want to miss a minute of this. She was telling me yesterday that before the 2002 championship, she was a nervous wreck. So this time she's a little more prepared, knows what's happening, tried to share those experiences with her teammates.
Woznuk again trying to feed it through to Sinclair. Yeah, Christine has been so busy with her international responsibilities. This is the first season she's been here the whole time.
You know, it's also interesting to point out, talk about the student athlete aspect of this. She maintains a 3.75 grade point average. And you got to remember, she's got triple duty, classroom, Portland, and Canadian national team. It's quite an impressive resume.
Has not affected her studies. She's an ESPN, the magazine, academic All-America as well. Huey, punched out by Henderson. Budge couldn't settle it, and now the breakout for the Bruins. DiMartino on the left of Caroline. Look at the purple jerseys hustling to get back. No white jerseys coming up to help. And now they arrive. That was just terrific hustle by the Portland Pilots to get back to help out. Let's see what kind of adjustments now for UCLA, if any, out of that timeout. Midway through the first half here at the National Championship of the 2005 NCAA Women's College Cup. Portland in purple, UCLA in white. Pilots looking for their second national championship in the last 4 years. UCLA has never won it before. And the UCLA defense that had not allowed a goal in the 5 previous NCAA tournament games burned for a couple here in the first half. And it has not been just Christine Sinclair. She told us the other day the team isn't just about her.
we have so many dangerous players. You know, I think earlier in the year, teams, you know, decided, okay, let's double team Sinclair, and you know, you have Rapinoe, Huey, Woznuk, but they'll kill you for it. And I think that's started to show over the course of the playoffs where everyone's scoring.
Everyone indeed. Sinclair with 1 goal. Woznuk had the first. And it had been coming in Megan Rapinoe, who was the leading scorer for the team in the postseason. Real dynamic offensive performance so far by the Pilots. It's been a terrific turnout for the UP fans. A lot of folks here. And we should also send out a special hello to over 2,000 folks watching at the Charles Center back in Portland. For those that weren't able to make the trip, cheering on Portland. Over 40,000 fans this year turned out to watch Portland games. That's a new record for men or women. The best fans in the country. Now Lang. The ricochet goes to Adams. Danesha looks to the middle, and Huey the only one there. Let's check in with Anne-Marie.
The Pilot fans that you see there in the end zone swear they're not putting their shirt on at all today, even though it's below 50. Some of those guys started driving on Wednesday to get to this match. 37 hours they drove to get here.
Budge pushing forward. Yeah, well, undoubtedly, they probably feel right at home in this kind of weather. They've had plenty to cheer about so far with the 2-0 advantage in the first half. Budge. Castellanelli. All purple jerseys around that one as the teams now decide to ping pong it back and forth. Portland Pilots, 22 wins, a new school record this year. They are making their 8th appearance in this College Cup, winning a national championship in 2002 for the late legendary Clive Charles. Passed away after his battle with cancer in 2003, the year after winning that first national championship, first team title for any Portland sport. He mentored Garrett Smith, the current head coach for the Pilots, who has just done a terrific job with the chemistry of this group this season. And Marie's got some more about that.
Well, during the break, I wanted to tell you what UCLA was saying. They spent a lot of time talking about Christine Sinclair, in part. The players did, not giving her so much space. But it was interesting to watch the seniors, Jill Oakes and Elise Mora, take control of that huddle there. They were trying to motivate their team, certainly trying to keep them in it, but I love what they said at the end. They all got together and they started yelling, "Love the struggle, love the struggle." That's what this team is about.
Uncharted territory for them. They haven't been down by 2 goals this season. But that's a pretty good group of senior leaders that they have on this team, as they will look to mount the comeback.
And both Mora and Oakes are very verbal, and that doesn't surprise me that they're trying to take over with their leadership in that huddle. And love the struggle. That's what they need to focus on, because it is going to be a struggle to come back. Like you said, this is uncharted territory for them.
Another nice ball from Woznuk out wide to Rapinoe. Her cross, looking for Budge. Over the crossbar.
Talk some deeper strategy on the Portland lineup. How are they creating so much success? And I believe it's these 3 players, Huey, Rapinoe, and Woznuk, and that's what Sinclair talked about, is their midfield, just a phenomenal midfield. These guys are getting these players in, and Sinclair, you got to keep an eye on her. Wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't try and find another goal this half. There's really the play of that midfield that has been phenomenal.
Well, they've controlled the match thus far, and really UCLA has been limited to that one fantastic scoring opportunity that Adams had, but other than that, they haven't had too many looks at Alexander.
Well, I believe they're pretty shaken up right now, you know, being down 2-0 at this point.
Huey looking for Sinclair. As Anne-Marie reported, that time Christine did not have a whole lot of room. ESPN2 and ESPNU's coverage of the Men's College Cup begins on Friday with the national semis at 4 Eastern, SMU in Maryland, followed by Clemson in New Mexico at 6:30. The NCAA Men's College Cup beginning Friday on ESPN2 and ESPNU. There will be a new champion on the men's side this year. Indiana winning it all last season out on the West Coast. And the men's semifinals will be Friday in Cary, North Carolina at SAS Soccer Park. Mora. She'll take the throw in for UCLA. Taken away by the Pilots. We've also seen a switch in midfield. Adams has moved over to the left for UCLA, and DiMartino is now on the right side. Lopez to Rapinoe. Lefty in-swinger looking far post. Adams with a header right to Sinclair, who just missed it high over the bar.
Well, the ball had a good bounce up. She was really having to get her left leg up pretty high in order to keep that ball down. Well taken by Sinclair, though. Her leg seems fine. She doesn't seem to be limping at all.
Let's check in once again with Anne-Marie.
Sinclair is actually battling 2 problems with her leg. One is the thigh bruise from the Notre Dame game a few days ago, but the other one was yesterday. She caught a cleat right above her knee, right where her fibula attaches to her knee bone, and that's the deep bone bruise, both in the same leg. But she said, as Wendy alluded to earlier, she's going to try to keep it warm today during halftime. She thought she wasn't too smart about that yesterday. But 2 problems, same leg, and so far no effect.
She is a tough customer out of British Columbia, the top scorer in NCAA tournament history. And in her 4-year career, only Danielle Fotopoulos has scored more goals. Earlier this year, Sinclair passed both Mia Hamm and Tiffany Milbritt. And with her goal earlier in this first half, by the way, she sets a new NCAA single-season goals record. She now has 38 on the year. So a record-setting season for Christine as she seeks her second national championship. Woznuk with the throw-in. Looking into the area, Huey! Just missed.
Well, it's Portland up 2-0, and it's from some brilliant playmaking. All 3 midfielders, Rapinoe, Huey, and then finally Woznuk. Factor into this first goal. Look at this nice through ball to Woznuk, and then she finds a beautiful finish. Now keep an eye on Sinclair. Again, Woznuk in on that left side. A low boom back of the net.
Just a perfect strike by Sinclair. 2-0 Portland. 11.5 minutes to go. The Bruins with just the 1 shot on goal so far, coming in averaging 5 goals per game in the NCAA tournament. And of course, the 2 Portland strikes, the first goals that the Bruins have allowed.
One of the things I think Portland is doing a better job of than in the semis is using the width. This is a nice example of it here. Look at Lopez pushing up on this left side. They're going sideline to sideline with the width in this field. And in the semi, I felt like they played a little bit more up the center of the field. I'm sure Garrett Smith analyzed that and wanted to make that adjustment. And UCLA, on the other hand, is not really utilizing their width very well. I think they're just playing pretty nervous right now.
Castellanelli. Now Adams. Danesha. Right into the double team, and Hollenbeck clears it. Make sure to visit NCAAsports.com, the official online home of all 88 NCAA championships. And find out some more information about the Division I Men's College Cup, which begins on Friday at 4 Eastern on ESPN2, as well as ESPNU. Also have the full schedule for the women's volleyball regionals next weekend, and the national semis and championships on the ESPN family of networks in 2 weeks. Under 10 minutes now to go in the first half. All Portland so far today. Zerboni with some space, looking for Mora and Lang. Ball still loose. Edis could not get a boot on it as she made the turn off balance. Good work though by the Bruins.
UCLA's doing a better job of trying to pressure this Portland defense. Good ball by Zerboni, just kind of dies there in a very dangerous space, and there's Lang and Mora both there. Can't get on the other end of it. Corey Alexander, with good presence in the box, makes the save.
DiMartino, she had the 2 goals in the semis. Now to Cara Lang. One of the top young strikers in the world. Michelson defending. Gleason to Mora, blocked by Evans. Big thumbs up so far to the play of Emily Michelson, the sophomore from Portland, Jesuit High School, who shut down Tiffany Weimer in the semis and now is containing Cara Lang. Space in the middle. Bucks try to get it out wide. UCLA definitely making a concerted effort to get some numbers up here in the last few minutes.
And I think the change that they made in switching Danesha Adams and DiMartino was a good move on their part, because DiMartino naturally is a little bit more defensive oriented. With Woznuk, just really, in my opinion, that's been the difference, is exposing that space left by Adams.
And Adams is playing up much higher, almost as a third attacker now on that left side.
And of course, she was doing that as well on the right side, but she's got to remember, or one of her teammates has got to cover for her. I just find her transition slow back to defense, and it's the attacking mentality in her. She probably hasn't broken that habit yet.
Woznuk back to Lopez. Rapinoe touches it back. Nice movement by the Pilots. And a little too much pace on that Woznuk pass. 7 minutes to go here in the first half. The Bruins down, but it has been a spectacular year for UCLA. All new school records in wins, consecutive games without a loss, and shutouts en route to another Pac-10 championship and their second trip in a row to the national championship match. They lost last year to Notre Dame in penalty kicks. Gave up the early goal in the second minute to Woznuk today, and then Sinclair followed with another in the 22nd minute on an unstoppable rocket from just inside the area. Oaks now stepping up. Adams to Mora. She's got DiMartino out right. Not wide enough on the pass. And Lopez does a nice job. Portland content to take some time off the clock. Switch fields, and now over to Budge, making a run down the right. Natalie looking for Sinclair, far post, gets a hit on it. Back across the goal mouth and wide right. Terrific look from Budge.
Nice ball here by Budge. Beautiful back post. At first it looked like maybe it was a little bit too long, but Sinclair reads it well. And the thing I liked about it, although it wasn't on the face of the goal, she headed it back in the direction that it came from. A lot of times players will flick that header, and the momentum of the ball will just carry it more in the opposite direction. She headed it back in the direction it was coming from, which would have beat the goalkeeper if she'd kept it on face.
Mora giving chase and is called for the push on Evans. Now with 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Foul on UCLA. Free kick for Portland. Taking it number 4, Kerr.
Michelle Gleason plays it back. Lopez trying to overlap, broken up by Kristen Davis. Hollenbeck, now Budge, just inside the box. Gets all the way through to Sinclair, turns it to the outside, shoots, and scores! 3-0 Portland! Second goal of the day for Christine Sinclair, who got around Kristen Davis for the goal.
Well, I talked about Portland. One of the biggest differences for them in this first half has been their use of the width, and really that was a change the point to Hollenbeck, who set the play up, and then Budge comes across here, and that ball actually was kind of lucky probably to get through, but it's the finish. Again, that's a finish. Take a look here. Low far post, hits about 3 inches inside that post there. That is unstoppable. Christine Sinclair is incredible on her turn. She's so powerful. That first, she turned, and on her first step, she'd already had the defender beaten.
What a performance by the Pilots here in the first half. Christine Sinclair, her 38th and 39th goals of the season, giving her now 110 for her career. Second best in NCAA history. Sinclair in the area, and the handball will be called on Christine. Knocked it down with that shoulder. In the 42nd minute for Sinclair, her second of the first half.
She's so on her game today. The problem with the UCLA defense is if they try and focus on her too much, she's got midfielders coming in behind her that are playing really good matches. So I think this UCLA defense has never found themselves in this position, and it's tough for them to deal with it in a final match.
Have not allowed 3 goals all season. And Pilots have posted 3 in the first half, 2 of them by that player right there, the reigning Mac Herman National Player of the Year and the odds-on favorite to win it again, and join Mia Hamm and Cindy Parlow as the only 2 back-to-back winners of that honor. Very impressive company indeed. And certainly have to start the discussion, Wendy, as to whether or not Sinclair is certainly among the best, but perhaps the best collegiate player ever.
I'll tell you, she is awesome. She's got so many elements to her game. You know, she's fast, she's quick. You saw that explosion on her turn. Even with her size, she still has all those incredible attributes, and she will run through defenses. I mean, it takes 2 defenders to stop her a lot of times, which opens up her teammates for scoring chances.
Good news for Canadians everywhere as well, because after she graduates, she'll spend what appears to be a long and prosperous career with the Canadian national side, which finished 4th in the last World Cup. A big surprise. They missed out on the Olympics But certainly that is a goal for Sinclair and the Canadians. And Cara Lang is her teammate on that Canadian national side, out there right now with UCLA. And those two players, interestingly enough, a big reason why Canada will be considered one of the top teams in the world for years to come.
And I believe, Cara Lang, she's just settling back into her forward position. She's been playing midfield for the Canadian national team. Took her half the season really to get herself going, get used to being in front of the goal like that again. But she said she is never going to take that for granted again. She loves being a forward. And you see her numbers in the playoffs. I mean, she has 17 points, which is pretty staggering for her first year in the collegiate game. Really turned it on in the latter part of the season.
Half a minute now to go in the first half. Huey. And the final 10 seconds of the first half now winding down. An aggressive performance and a bit shocking for the Pilots against a UCLA defense that had not given up a goal in the NCAA tournament. UCLA in white, Portland in purple, underway in the second half. No other personnel changes on either side as the starters are back out there with the return of Stacy Lindstrom in the UCLA midfield. DiMartino cleared over the touchline by Hollenbeck, and now Aaron Hardy will take the throw-in. And we were speculating if perhaps Oakes would come up out of the back, but once they made the move to 3 defenders, she will stay in there and anchor them centrally. And it will be Adams that will push up from the midfield. Across, looking for Adams. Alexander got a piece of it. Ricochets off of McCall, Zerboni, and out. And it is Castellanelli who has moved up on the right side, defensively, making more of a midfield run now.
And a pretty ball there, just needs to be pulled out a tad. Corey Alexander making a nice attempt at it.
Whistle will go against UCLA. Just underway here in the second half, the national championship match of the Women's College Cup.
I think these adjustments by Coach Ellis are wise decisions. I like Castellanelli, hard name to say, especially when you're cold up here, but on the right side, she attacked a lot in the semifinal. And as well, I like Adams up top, and she doesn't have any defensive responsibility and just can take risks in front of the net.
Huey bumped off by Hardy, who does manage to play it back across, and then Aaron blasts it out of there.
I should correct myself. Not that Adams doesn't have any defensive responsibility, because that's not true. I just was actually referring to in the midfield, she's not going to have to track back.
Woznuk tried to get it to Bud. She was offside. But Christine Sinclair with the 2 goals, getting plenty of help around her. And Lindsay Huey was telling us that Christine Sinclair elevates everyone else's game.
She is a really phenomenal player, and she makes a lot of us sometimes look a lot better than maybe we really are at times. And it's just nice having somebody to be able to combine and play with a lot of the times.
And that is certainly the case in this first half and now underway in the second. In particular, Huey, Woznuk, and Rapinoe really working well with Sinclair, and then Budge assisted on the 3rd goal. So everybody in the midfield and up top getting involved. Cara Lang, she'll let one go, and Alexander lets it slide wide. Lang, the freshman from Ontario, Canada. Alexander has only had to make one save today in goal for Portland. Oaks across midfield.
You can see
McCall,
Oaks.
Zerboni.
Oaks is really trying to get involved in the attack, or trying to start the attack. A couple times already this half, she's carried the ball into that midfield, trying to start something for her team.
She is a converted midfielder this year for UCLA, was a midfielder last year in their run to the championship match. And really remarkable about what Oaks and this entire defensive unit has done. Hardy, a freshman. Castellanelli is the only player that has played defense. Briston Davis is the converted attacker. And for more on Briston, here's Anne-Marie.
Briston Davis's brother Chad won the NCAA championship with the Bruins in 2002. She said she talked to her brother after Friday's game. He was thinking about FedExing his ring out to her for a little inspiration. He couldn't get that worked out, so he took a picture of it and sent it to her via email. Here's a little something for you to look at.
That's her brother Chad, who won with the UCLA men a couple of years ago. The Bruin men have 4 titles. The Bruin women looking for their first women's soccer championship. And a tradition of excellence in Westwood with 97 team titles, the most of any school in NCAA play. Portland women's soccer looking for its second. Sinclair, Huey, Hollenbeck, and then Colleen Salisbury, the other member of the senior class. Those are the remaining members of the 2002 championship team. And the shirts are still off the Pilot fans. As guys told Anne-Marie earlier, the shirts would not go on until the championship was won. Edith Mora, broken up by Michelson. All the seniors with contributions for Portland. Salisbury, even though she did not play in that semi, made one of the PKs that helped Portland get on to the final. And the West Coast Conference with Portland and Santa Clara has been the dominant conference in the College Cup for the last decade. With 2 national titles in the last 4 years.
Hey, take a look, take a look.
Mora will take the corner. Lang's a pretty good target, as is Lindstrom. Here is Carl Lang. And taken away by Sinclair. With one defender to beat Erin Hardy back. And Erin Hardy tripped up from behind by Christine.
Well, Hardy did a good job to compose herself there and make that defensive play, because there was nobody left back there if she hadn't stopped Sinclair. They get tangled up a little bit, and there's that little right-footed trip up by Sinclair. Takes Hardy down. Good call by the referee.
Oaks will take the direct kick. That's another area where Portland has been good today. UCLA has not had an opportunity to have many set pieces, and remember, they scored 2 of their goals yesterday on set pieces.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Florida State made 2 critical mistakes early on in the match, which put UCLA up. In my opinion, that's where Mora is probably going to be most dangerous. She doesn't really deal with the physical part of the game a lot, and I believe Michelson for Portland is bumping her around a little bit, which we saw Michelson do a good job with Weimer as well.
Zerboni plays it back to Oaks as UCLA has made the change to a 3-4-3 now to get another attacker forward. ESPN2 and ESPNU have your coverage for the Men's College Cup, which gets underway Friday afternoon at 4 Eastern. SMU and Maryland in the first national semi, followed by Clemson and New Mexico at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. The Men's College Cup next Friday from Cary, North Carolina on ESPN2 and ESPNU. And if you do not already have ESPNU, please call your satellite provider or local cable operator and get hooked up today for the best in college athletics. Garrett Smith and the rest of the Portland bench, I think, just watching that clock, trying to will it to go a little faster. Sinclair.
Good track, Steve.
Hardy, Zerboni, and Oaks. Now Jill will blast it forward. Now back to Sari.
Beth, I really like what Garrett Smith told his team when we heard him with his pregame speech. He said 3 things: have fun, work hard, and it's business as usual. It's not, you've got to stop this player or this player. He believes that if his team plays the soccer that they can play, that the game will take care of itself.
Whistle in the area will go against Lang. 3 purple jerseys were around her.
Lang's such a good physical presence, and it really does take double teaming, sometimes triple teaming, to stop her. What Lang is doing is she's getting that little extra kick in as they go down after the play, and the referee's taking a look at that, and that's why she got called on that. It seemed like it would have been a Portland foul with all the Portland players around her, but she's finishing off the play with a little bit of a, you know, kick to the ankles. I've seen it a couple times already from up here.
About 10 minutes gone here in the second half. And the formation switch really has not afforded UCLA many scoring chances against this Portland defense here in the second half. Here's a look at how the top 2 scorers on these sides compare. Sinclair with the 2 goals on 4 shots. Adams, 2 shots, had that great opportunity, made a good run down the middle of the field and beat a defender and Alexander, but then put it wide, trying to compose herself into the side of the net. This is Adams, back to the goal, gives it away. Sinclair collides at midfield.
That didn't look good at all. Watch her knee there. They go knee to knee. She's trying to win that 50-50 ball. Yeah, knee to knee. That's good news. It's just a bruise.
Sinclair is up. Try to walk that off.
Now she's got bruises on both legs.
A tough competitor, Christine Sinclair. Portland could make a substitution, and Sinclair can re-enter once here in the second half if need be. Garrett Smith took a look at it, content for the time being to let Christine try and run it off. Oaks. Just seems to be Portland getting to all the 50-50 balls here today.
Well, they're playing with so much confidence. I mean, no doubt the 3-0 lead helps them. But they're playing good soccer. They're really settling the ball down, keeping it on the ground, trying to play make.
Mora tries to get it back to Adams off the bounce. Comes a throw in for UCLA.
It's a long throw by Lindstrom. The ball drops right at about the 6-yard box, and they're just trying to flick it on across the face of the goal. Keep the ball alive in front of the net.
Then Portland gets it out of danger. And then Sinclair, a hard takedown. And a yellow card coming out, issued to Hardy.
Well, maybe a little payback. Hardy was a little upset when she got tripped up earlier. She's getting stuck in, though, as a freshman. Maybe a little bit of frustration helping as well. Just a sandwich job there.
Hardy, the freshman from Costa Mesa, California. Has been a starter in the back all year for UCLA. Adams to Zerboni. And Rapinoe takes it away. Rapinoe through a few defenders and launches from outside the area. That seems to be her favorite spot, to let it fly.
She has so many exceptional elements to her game, but the thing that I was most impressed about on that play was her ability to turn the corner and get the defender on her back.
From the Women's College Cup here at Aggie Soccer Stadium in College Station, Texas, Beth Mullins, Wendy Gabauer-Palladino, and Anne-Marie Anderson. And Portland goes 9 shots in the first half, getting 3 goals. They've outshot UCLA and outplayed the Bruins thus far. UCLA had not given up a goal in the NCAA tournament. 5 games, shut out their opposition. And the goal in the 2nd minute by Angie Woznuk really set the tone today. And then Christine Sinclair, the National Player of the Year, picking up 2 goals. Portland defense has really put the clamps on a UCLA offensive attack that was averaging 5 goals a game in the tournament. Scoreless so far, with just really a couple of opportunities on the day.
The no goals in the run of playoffs has only been achieved by one team, that's UNC, and that was the freshman year of Lindsay Tarpley, Heather Kolupny. And it's just a ton of pressure involved with that kind of streak. I mean, really, in all honesty, probably as a coach, you know, you think it's great to have those type of records, but hey, let's go ahead and give up a goal and then see how we deal with it and be experienced in that situation.
Yeah, the 2003 Tar Heels, the only team since the field went to 64 that has not allowed a goal in a run to the championship. There's the NCAA career goal leaders, and Sinclair is 2nd with 110. Fotopoulos, Ham, and Milbert all at one time enjoying very good careers with the U.S. national team. And Sinclair doing the same now with the Canadian nationals. Is also a Portland pilot. And Sinclair is going on to break a lot of Tiffany's records.
Well, and Danielle Fotopoulos and Tiffany Milbert are both back in camp with the United States national team, so they're continuing their careers.
Mia Hamm enjoying her retirement. And Dare to Dream, the documentary on the U.S. women's soccer team, will air on HBO a week from today.
I heard it's very powerful. I heard you go ahead and bring a box of Kleenex with you when you're watching it.
Of course, we got the Men's College Cup starting on Friday on ESPN and ESPN2 and ESPNU. And also on Friday, the World Cup draw will be announced. Find out where the U.S. men will be playing in Germany starting next June. Possible that the American men could get one of the top 8 seeds. Starting to see a little bit of frustration now on the UCLA side. Under a half hour to go in the final. And Portland has really not let up at all, despite the big lead. Rapinoe brings it back out for Woznuk. Sinclair to Budge, sliding tackle by Oakes. Sari, look at this possession here for Portland, not giving UCLA a chance to head the other way with it.
Taking good care of the ball. Letting the ball do a lot of work for them. They're spreading UCLA out, which is only going to further frustrate them. They're going to start getting physically fatigued as well as being mentally drained.
Mora wide to DiMartino. Huey on her defensively. And it's knocked loose all the way back to Alexander. Sinclair. Gonna be throwing here for UCLA.
Tiffany Milbert there in the stands cheering her school on.
Davis tried to chip it into the area. Again, no threat from the Bruins. Rapinoe, offside.
Can't say enough about Rapinoe. I love her game. I love her mentality and her efficiency on the ball, quickness, good technical speed with the ball. She's got a nice long-range shot. She just loves playing in the big matches. It's a dream for a coach.
She was involved in the first 2 goals for the Pilots. And now a set piece coming up for UCLA. Mora will take the corner kick.
This is a bit of a mistake here by Portland. You don't want to give up a corner kick. Michelson not clearing the ball well. She had a lot of time.
Mora. Near post, headed out of trouble. Davis running on. Blocked by Sinclair. Now Hardy. Set piece for UCLA goes by the wayside. Oaks, DiMartino has some space to turn. To Lang, back to Zerboni. Castellanelli, trying to get by Woznuk. Mary tries to turn it back inside, broken up. Pilots look to Sinclair now in midfield. Approaching the midway point in the second half. Portland in control throughout, 3-0. Against a Bruin team that's in the championship match for the second year in a row in their 4th College Cup appearance. Still seeking that elusive national title. A 26-9 record in NCAA play.
And Jill Ellis has done such a great job of building this UCLA program. Before she got there, the program was not on the soccer map, and she has really done amazing things with the program.
Let's send it down to Anne-Marie.
Danesha Adams, one of the fastest players on the field right now for UCLA. This is actually her 3rd NCAA championship in the past calendar year. Of course, her 2nd one with the soccer team. But last year, she also was a pinch runner for the softball team, the Bruin softball team, because she is so fast. In 2003, the catcher for the softball team joined the soccer team midseason as a backup goalkeeper. So the softball coach, Sue Enquist, asked Coach Jillian last year for a little payback, and she got Danesha. I just asked Coach, will you ask for Danesha Adams again this year in the offseason? And she said, oh, absolutely.
Yeah, she was in the championship series against Michigan. The Wolverines won it in game 3, best 2 out of 3, but Adams was used by Sue Enquist.
So you don't find that speed just anywhere.
Huey. In fact, Enquist spoke with the Bruins before their trip here, and she and Jill Ellis, pretty good friends in that UCLA athletic department. And the Bruins will have to rally big time to keep their hopes alive of their first ever national title. Came up short last year in the final, falling to Notre Dame in PKs, and now trailing Portland here in the second half. Portland in purple, UCLA in white. Couple of goals today by Christine Sinclair, the National Player of the Year. And it all started in the second minute with Angie Woznuk. Impressive, even more so by the fact that UCLA had not given up a goal in the first 5 games of the NCAA tournament. Goes all the way through to Lindsay Huey. Huey will play it back. Hollenbeck. Kelsey Hollenbeck finds Sinclair.
Come on, Huey. Run, Huey.
Portland obviously in no rush. Looking for Huey with Hardy there defending. Throw in for Portland.
Portland's going to try and milk some time off the clock.
Get this, McCall. Here we go. Step in, step in.
Sinclair in the area, looking for some space to turn, and UCLA takes it away. Let's check in with Anne-Marie.
Listening in on Garrett Smith, trying to keep his players motivated here and keep control of this game. He called UCLA a desperate team right now, urging the players to take control, keep control. Don't expect Sandy, their goalkeeper, to protect you. He also said, anybody fouls you, I just want you to walk away and continue to dictate the pace.
And that's been the big thing here in the second half. They have dictated the pace. Even with the big advantage, UCLA has not had many opportunities.
Well, the biggest thing is Portland's taking really good care of the ball, and they're playing with a lot of patience. They don't need to force anything, but they're still so dangerous. They're not going to not look to try and score. Now, this is dangerous. Mora on the other end of this. We saw in the semifinal game, she served a nice ball into Adams for the second goal.
Edith Mora. In on goal, punched out by Alexander. And Lopez tries to clear it out, kept in by Briston Davis. Defense really pushing forward now as UCLA making the switch to a 3-4-3 formation here in the second half. Lopez to Budge. Megan Rapinoe. What a job that the freshman has done this year. And in particular in this NCAA tournament. In fact, we asked Megan about that yesterday as to whether or not she was feeling any of those freshman jitters.
My outlook on the game is the bigger the game, the more excited, the more hyped up I get, and the more I feel like I need to produce and kind of help my team out. So just been trying to take advantage of the opportunities given to me.
Very calm, plays beyond her years of experience. I can't say enough about her as a player, and like I said earlier, almost a chance there for Lang. As I said earlier, you know, that's a coach's dream. You bring a freshman in, usually it takes a year or two to get them kind of acclimated. She's playing here in the national championship game, and she's excited and gets more pumped up for these big games.
On the team with her twin sister Rachel, the daughters of Jim and Denise Rapinoe from Redding, California.
Mora's had trouble getting this deep into the box. That's a better serve.
Down in the area, and then covered up by Alexander. And a nice hand from the Portland fans here. Portland out shooting UCLA today 10-7. 3 of those shots finding the back of the net. Mora trying to create. Nice sliding takeaway by Lopez. Lindsay Huey has Budge out in front of her. Lindsay will overlap. DiMartino on her defensively. Back heels it to Budge and gets the corner kick. Pilots will make a substitution.
Here's Huey working the ball down near the corner here. DiMartino on her. I like that Budge stayed very close by to help her out.
So Michelle Schifo comes on as Huey prepares for the corner kick. Headed out by Zerboni. And now Mora. UCLA trying to get some white jerseys forward. Foul will be against Portland.
Evans coming in. Little payback there.
And Sandra Hunt has pulled out the yellow card.
That's for dissent. Mora's frustrated.
Free kick for UCLA, taken by number 19, Jill Oaks.
Oaks will take the kick. And we've got another card coming out. We believe the last one was on Mora for dissent, and now this one will be on Adams with the elbow. And it was before the kick was taken, so it will still be UCLA's apparently. And this is what Anne-Marie was reporting from Coach Garrett Smith on the Portland bench. Hey, don't get involved with some of the stuff going on with UCLA out of frustration. Portland fans yelling they think the kick should be taken further back as Oaks gets ready to strike it from around midfield. Oaks puts it into the area looking for Lang, and a corner kick coming up for the Bruins as Carrie Evans was able to head that one clear.
Mora's got to get this kick deep into the back post. Got Lang as a great target on that backside. She's just not executing these real well.
DiMartino. Sari. Whistle and the foul will go against Rapinoe for playing the player instead of the ball on that one with the shoulder.
Rapinoe's like, hey, I used my shoulder.
Briston Davis will take this kick. In the air. And another corner kick coming up. ESPN2's coverage of women's college basketball continues tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern with number 8 North Carolina and number 6 UConn. It's Monday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. This game is also available on high definition on ESPN2 HD. Call your local cable or satellite provider today for more information. Far post, Lindstrom heads it wide.
Oh, Lindstrom should have headed that and back in the direction that it came from. We saw a great clip of that when Sinclair had that chance earlier. Okay, you want this ball to go back in that direction. You see she just kind of flicks it. Watch the ball how it carries, yeah, off the face of the goal. If she just pops it back across the face of the goal, if she's not going to finish, maybe one of her teammates will.
Hardy has it at midfield. Adams trying to flip it to DiMartino. Every time UCLA starts to make a run, it gets busted up by that pilot defense.
Yeah, Portland's got everybody but one player. Right now, Rapinoe's just kind of hovering up top. They've got everybody behind the ball. They're playing good team defense.
I just as impressive as the 3 goals scored are the none allowed today by Portland. Against a UCLA team that obviously had the good defense, but was high scoring as well in this NCAA tournament. Shots are all even today. UCLA obviously with more in the second half as they've tried to push forward with the third attacker. Rapinoe cuts it back inside, goes to the left and scores! Rapinoe with the goal!
Garrett Smith just cool as can be on the bench there. Can't say enough about Rapinoe. Look at this cutback and just a beautiful left-footed shot, tucks it inside that near post. The cutback buys herself some time, sets up the left foot. Boom, just a worm burner with some pace to that near post. That is brilliant.
She told us the other day she loves those long distance shots. The defense and the goalkeeper sometimes caught napping. They aren't expecting her to fire it with such pace from long range. And for Megan Rapinoe, her 6th goal of the NCAA tournament. And the Portland Pilots now with that 2nd national championship in their sights. This has been as impressive a performance as we have seen in a while. That 2003 Carolina team dominant in their 6-0 win in the final over Connecticut. This certainly ranks right up there among the all-time great showings in a national championship match. Woznuk looking for Rapinoe again. And it's broken up by Hardy. Rapinoe told us the other day that they get so many chances, the rest of these Pilot players, because the defense is often so focused on Christine Sinclair.
I think a lot of times teams, I mean, they should if they don't. They're crazy focus on Sink, you know, Christine Sinclair. I think it definitely just opens up opportunities for the other weapons that we have on the field. So I'm just kind of been trying to take advantage of whatever's given to me.
Alexander with the goal kick. Now Huey. Pilots continue to attack. Rapinoe grabbed hold of Aaron Hardy, who broke that one up.
I like Hardy a lot. She hasn't given up. She just continues to battle. She's not big in stature, but she uses her body really well on defense, always making sure the defender's feeling her presence.
Quick restart by UCLA now. Back out across midfield. North Carolina and Notre Dame. Or rather, Portland with a chance to win the title unbeaten. North Carolina's done it on 11 occasions in the course of their amazing run of 17 NCAA titles. Now the Portland Pilots looking to join them, coming in 22-0-2 on the season, winning in the semis on PKs against Penn State to advance. And just an awesome performance today Woznuk and Rapinoe with goals, Sinclair with 2, and Sinclair on the run again, looking for the hat trick. Rapinoe wide open in the middle, settles, and uncorks it and just misses wide right.
Uncharacteristically off balance for Rapinoe. A little bit of a tough ball to handle from Sinclair, a little bit in the air. She takes it down here, she's got some space, but then just leans back a little bit.
Portland fans sensing another championship here today. Boy, the state of Texas has been awfully good to the Pilots. 3rd time the championships have been held in Texas, and Portland is going to win 2 of them. Oh, almost found Sinclair in front.
So exceptional about Portland is just their possession. You know, they're stringing 4, 5, 6 passes together. When they do serve a ball, they also get in a position quickly to receive it back.
Sinclair looking for Shifo. And Christine still hustling out there. As her collegiate career will come to an end today with a 2nd national championship. Probably closing in on a 2nd consecutive Matt Herman Award as National Player of the Year. Pretty good way to end it, going undefeated en route to the title.
Well, we asked her about that Player of the Year award and what she thought about that, and she said, I just really want to get a 2nd national championship for my team. But I think she's going to get both.
3 out.
Corey Alexander, the junior from Martinez, California, solid in goal. Best defense has been a good offense today for the Pilots. Mora, DiMartino. Sari back to break it up, and the whistle will go against UCLA, approaching 7 minutes to go. Keeps it on the left. Lopez, Sinclair. Shifo pushes forward. She's got Rapinoe in the middle. Cuts it back to Sinclair instead. Knocked down by Oaks. That was a blast from Sinclair. Midfield. And a throw-in for Portland. And Rapinoe will come off. And a nice moment for Colleen Salisbury, the senior. Checks in. Big day for Megan Rapinoe, including the goal. And a terrific job in that attacking midfield position this afternoon.
Fitting for Salisbury to get some time as well. She netted an all-important PK.
Adams almost snuck in behind for the header. A goal and an assist.
What a
in
game.
her first appearance in the national championship. Just a freshman. They will lose the seniors, Sinclair, Hollenbeck, Huey, and Salisbury. Everybody else is back, including the other 2 goal scorers today, Rapinoe and Angie Woznuk. Coming up next, we've got women's college basketball for you. Texas Tech taking on Penn State. ESPNU and ESPN2, the Men's College Cup, and the following weekend, the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championships. And of course, with the hoops to follow us here today, the NCAA family of networks is your exclusive home for the Women's National Championships in the Final Four next spring. Sinclair already with 2 goals today. Lindstrom giving chase, but Huey beats her there, and then Lindstrom takes down Huey. Salisbury gets ahead on it. Well, the Portland Pilots, #1 team in the country, unbeaten on the year. And they close the deal in impressive fashion today with their performance against UCLA.
Clive Charles would be so proud of this team. It's nice that Clarina's here in attendance, and I love what she shared with Anne Marie, because I do believe that Garrett Smith really was mentored by him and fully prepared to do such a professional job. And I would believe his strategy today, have fun, work hard, business as usual, pretty much taken care of. Check all 3 of those off the list.
Throw in for Portland. Garrett Smith, doesn't look like it's a national championship that he's closing in on. So relaxed over there. Lauren Orlando's next to him, one of their assistants, who was a member of that 2002 national championship team. There's Lauren. And the whole Portland staff, you know, is a group. They share responsibilities for the men's and the women's teams, which is also part of the Clive Charles way and his legacy. Bill Irwin, the director of soccer operations, who runs the day-to-day on the men's side. It has been a total team effort and total domination from the opening kick for the Portland Pilots. Portland Pilots will finish up their season unbeaten.
Fans are reminded the conclusion of today's match, a short award ceremony will be conducted. Stick around.
For the UCLA Bruins, a tough way to finish it up. Such an impressive run through the NCAA tournament. Portland offside. The Bruins will finish up the year 22-2-2. And for the 2nd year in a row, come up just short of a national championship. They will close out the careers for 2 of their all-time greats, seniors Jill Oakes and Edie Mora. We'll be hearing more from them undoubtedly on the world scene. Mora with the Mexican national side, and Jill Oakes getting her introduction to the U.S. national team last spring. And will be in the national pool for the Olympics. Garrett Smith, Christine Sinclair, and the Portland Pilots, the 2005 national champions.